Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Night of Champions review for 2020. And there were things on this show I really liked, things on this show I really didn't, and things on this show I did not understand. Overall, there's a couple matches worth watching, and you can skip the rest. I mean, that's about what was to be expected going in. I jumped to the pre-show SmackDown Tag Team Championship Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura against the Lucha House Party with Grand Metalik. Match was fine, but also could have been skipped. Obviously, when you have a guy like, when you have a team like Cesaro and Nakamura and they've already beaten everybody, you don't really believe you're going to see anything new. Heels dominate the match early for the most part. Cesaro's in control for the majority of the match. And I mean, Lucha House Party does take over from time to time. Kalisto hits the splash off the shoulders of Dorado for a near fall. Dorado comes back with a missile drop kick after following that up. Nakamura nails Dorado with a kick to the head, and they go to the floor. Heels cut off Dorado, and the pace is slowed down by Cesaro. Cesaro briefly fights back, hits a sunset bomb for near fall, and one of the babyfaces hit the sunset bomb. Cesaro ends up with a kick to the head for the regain of control. Missing knee by Nakamura in the corner. Dorado fights back. Cesaro knocks Kalisto off the apron. Heels take back over. I mean, the one thing I would say about this match is the match really felt too long. And I know it wasn't that long, but maybe it's the fact that I like Cesaro and Nakamura, and they're the only team on SmackDown I really enjoy right now. So maybe I don't care about the match enough. Anyway, Dorado fights back. Kalisto gets a hot tag. He goes nuts. Hits a tilt-a-whirl and a DDT on Cesaro. Attempts the handspring stunner. And then he ends up hitting a backbreaker. Kalisto attempts Tornado DDT. And Cesaro stops the momentum. And Dorado hits a dive, enabling Kalisto to hit the DDT. Interesting spot there. Nakamura yanks Dorado off the apron and hits him with a suplex on the floor. Finish sees Cesaro giving Kalisto the giant swing into a knee from Nakamura, and they retain the championships. We open the actual, network pay-per-view show with the triple threat ladder match. Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles. Zayn is victorious in the match. Match was good. They did a lot of dangerous stuff. Everybody worked hard. Everybody was innovative. There were some innovative sequences. Too many ladders for my taste. I don't particularly like these matches because it becomes a game of can you top this. Luckily, everyone was safe and it ends well. They did highlight the previous ladder matches of everybody involved, so that's kind of cool. Hardy hits kind of a bulldog clothesline, and Styles drop kicks the ladder into Hardy, and then Zayn hits a moonsault onto Styles. Zayn beats down both men with the ladder. Hardy cuts him off. Hardy backdrops Zayn onto the ladder. That looked painful. Ladder stays upside down. Hardy jumps off second turnbuckle. Styles moves out of the way. Hardy crashes through the ladder, and that looked super, super painful. Styles uses the ladder and grabs a second one to add to the chaos. Styles starts to climb. Zayn pulls him down. Styles fights back and hits Pele kick on Zayn, and Styles knocks Hardy off the ladder. Hardy recovers, gets Styles down. Zayn jumps back in the ring, and Styles prevents any movement there. Zayn is back and gives Styles an exploder suplex on the ladder in the corner. Ouch. Zayn climbs the ladder. Hardy stops him. And they all brawl around ringside. Hardy off the steps, hits Styles against the barricade. Zayn recovers and hits the haluva kick on Hardy. Could have been something more done with that, but they jumped into more spots, and Styles throws a small letter at Zayn. Zayn falls off the ladder. It looks like he might have injured his hand, at least for the moment. Maybe like a hand stinger or whatever. But anyway, Hardy and Styles both climb the ladder. And the ladder tips over. Hardy and Styles crash hard. And that it lands right in front of Zayn. Zayn climbs up the ladder. Hardy grabs the legs. And Styles tries the forearm, but Hardy hits Styles with the ladder in the middle of the move. That was a cool visual. Zayn tries climbing. Hardy pulls him down, hits Twist Fate. Hardy ends up upside down in the ladder. And this is when Zayn tries to topple the ladder over, which really seems like a bad idea. Hardy goes to the floor. He's still trapped in the ladder as he goes to the floor. This looks like it could have ended really badly. Luckily for everybody, it doesn't seem to, because Hardy gets back up and continues in a few minutes. Zayn does the ladder bridge between the apron and the announce table. I don't like those spots because they're too contrived. Styles hits a moonsault into a reverse DDT on the floor off of the announce table. And that is as chaotic as it sounds. Styles places Zayn on the ladder bridge. Hardy recovers and uses another ladder. Hardy hits a Swanton Bomb off the top of the ladder onto Zayn, a la his WrestleMania 17 or Royal Rumble 2000. That general era from 20 years ago when he used to do the insane dives off ladders. Styles recovers, takes over. He climbs the ladder in the ring. Hardy pushes the ladder over. They pipe in the "This is awesome" chants, which was just stupid. Like, no one buys that people are sitting at home in front of screens chanting at their screen. So I don't like that they're doing this. It seems like bad form. Anyway, Zayn regains control, beats down both men, and we see Zayn go to his jacket. He pulls out 2 handcuffs. Zayn handcuffs Hardy through an ear piercing, which I thought was real creative. I would not have thought to do that in a million years. I'd actually be interested to know who came up with that as a concept. He then tries to handcuff Styles to the ropes, but Styles fights back. The finish sees Styles give Zayn a suplex. Zayn handcuffs himself to Styles. Styles tries to climb. Tries to drag Zayn up with him. Doesn't work very well. Hardy back in the ring. With the ladder still attached to his ears. Zayn has the key in his mouth the whole time. Would have sucked if he swallowed it. That would have been really uncomfortable. He slips out of the handcuffs, and Zayn climbs up the ladder and pulls both titles down for the win. Post-match, Kayla Braxton asks Zayn how it felt to have the championship back, and he says that he never lost it in the first place. Drew Gulak defeats R-Truth to win the 24/7 championship. This is as dumb as it sounds. R-Truth wanders through the referee's lounge, and Gulak does some lunges. He rolls up Truth to win the title. I don't even know why they do this title anymore. It never really got over. Anyway, Raw Women's Championship match. Samoa Joe is back, by the way. He, along with Byron Saxton and Tom Phillips, my gosh, the commentary's fallen off on Raw, are your announce team for the night. And to be fair, for those that listen to my SmackDown review, yes, I did continue to ignore the fact that this product is mute worthy and did mute things throughout the show to make it more watchable, because the announced teams are just horrible. And yes, I do listen to AEW, I do listen to NXT, but Raw and SmackDown, man, the announcing is getting worse and worse. Anyway, match was fine, slow pace in the beginning. Asuka is in control early, and she is facing off. And I think I said Bayley. I don't know why. I think I had Bayley on the mind. Yeah, because Bayley is the there is the replacement of Asuka with Bayley. That's what got me thinking. That's later in the show though. This is Asuka and Zelina Vega. Um, anyway, so Asuka's mocking Vega. Vega fights back, doesn't really do much with it. Asuka quickly regains controls with headlocks and other holds and such. Vega fights out, attempts an arm drag. Asuka blocks most of the offensive moves here. Asuka goes for the arm, but gets sent to the apron. Follows up with a hip attack, sending Vega to the floor. Vega sends her into the steps on the outside. Asuka goes for the Asuka lock. Vega rolls through and goes for an armbar. I mean, I don't know enough about Zelina Vega, the wrestler. I haven't seen enough to comment, but should she even be remotely credible with someone like Asuka at this point in her on-screen development? I don't think so. It just doesn't fit. Anyway, Asuka escapes, goes for the Asuka lock. Vega rolls through. Vega hits a runner and double knees in the corner for a near fall, and hits a backstabber, gets a near fall off that. Then we see a bunch more moves. Asuka attempts the Asuka lock. Vega rolls through that for like the third time in the match. They're kind of killing Asuka's hold here. Asuka finally does apply the hold, gets the win. Charlie Caruso interviews Asuka in ring. She says Vega is like a firecracker, and Vega teased shaking Asuka's hand. She bows instead. Vega attacks her, and Asuka snaps and yells at her and all that stuff. Anyway, U.S. champion Bobby Lashley with MVP Shelton Benjamin defeats Apollo Crews with Ricochet to retain the title. Match was fine, but if you left it off the show, no one would have been the wiser. Lashley has the early advantage, uses his power, takes the match to the floor. Crews with a moonsault off the apron, hits a crossbody for a near fall. And then Lashley hits a flatliner for a near fall of his own. Crews fights back. MVP makes fun of Crews on the outside. Crews fights back and sends Lashley into the ring post on the outside. And Crews makes a comeback and hits a crossbody off the apron to the floor. Crews hits Lashley with an enziguri and a standing moonsault for near fall. Lashley recovers, hits a superplex for probably the closest near fall of the match thus far. Attempts the Dominator, can't get it. Crews slips out. A standing shooting star press. He follows up with a frog splash for a near fall. Lashley recovers and overpowers Crews. Hooks on the Hurt Lock for the win. Then we got Raw Tag Champs, Street Profits, Angel Garza, and Andrade. This match needs to go away for at least 6 months, preferably. There's a possibility that Garza got injured. They seemed like a disorganized finish here. Anyway, Street Profits have an early advantage. I'm still not a fan of them. I'm sorry. It reeks of a racially stereotypical mid-card tag team that Vince thinks people care about, but they really don't. And it's not a knock on the guys. They're doing what they're getting paid to do. I get it. But at the same time, I think both guys have more talent than they're being allowed to show. Heels take over. Ford misses a drop kick. Heels manage to isolate Ford. And Andrade hits a running knee for a near fall. Or allows Garza to hit the running knee. Garza slows the match down with a headlock, and a back suplex gets Ford going his way. Dawkins hits the hot tag, goes nuts on the heels, hits a spinning splash in the corner. Andrade hits a drop kick to regain control, and he misses double knees in the corner. Missing double knees seems to be the spot of the night. It's like the third time we've seen it in probably about 5 matches or so. Anyway, Garza hits a Spanish fly on Ford, and probably the closest near fall of the night. Ford attempts tag, doesn't get it. Andrade regains control, hits the double knees for near fall of his own. Double knees, there they already are again. I kid you not. I think I've said that phrase about 6 times already. Anyway, Dawkins gets a second hot tag. They do not need to do multiple hot tag spots in matches that are this short. Dawkins hits a power bomb on Andrade and scores the win. Andrade kicks out. Referee counts anyway and calls for the bell. There seems to be confusion. This is like the third finish that's been completely botched in less than a month. Two of them, the Mickie James one and this one, seem to be injury based, but they don't really follow up on it. Anyway, Andrade and the medical staff are checking on Garza at ringside, so maybe there is something to it. They announced that there will be a draft on October 9th on SmackDown and continuing on the 12th on Raw. I don't understand why there needs to be a draft when no one cares who's on what brand anyway. Kayla Braxton interviews Drew Gulak. He says that Tozawa was eaten by a shark last Monday. R-Truth shows up and regains his 24/7 title. Yay, this is stupid. Bayley cuts a promo. She comes out and makes her way to the ring, makes fun of Nikki Cross for not being able to compete. She wants to declare herself the winner. Asuka's music hits, and out comes Asuka. Short match. Not the best finish by any stretch. Asuka with the hip attack early goes for near fall. Attempts the Asuka lock. Bayley gets to the ropes. Bayley hits a back suplex for near fall. Asuka fights back and nails a code breaker. Bayley misses a drop kick, and then she follows up with a German suplex on the floor. Bayley grabs a chair, hits Asuka for a DQ. I mean, I understand that they probably had to throw this together because of the sickness, the COVID-19 stuff and all that. Anyway, Sasha Banks shows up, which I think is horrible. The reason I think it's horrible is in reality, Sasha Banks had an angle that if this were even 10 years ago, would have put her out for at least a month or two, and now she's back after less than a month. I'm not a fan of this. And she's also wearing the neck brace, so she's in enough pain that she needs the neck brace, but not enough that rolling around ringside doesn't basically almost kill Sasha Banks. There's an incongruency there that doesn't make any sense. Bayley grabs both a chair and a kendo stick singular, and they fight, and then Bayley runs away. Ambulance match. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton. McIntyre defeats Orton. I mean, this is as good as it was going to be. Nothing against the two guys. Again, it just feels like a gimmick match to be a gimmick match. They haven't been in a feud long enough where this would matter. They do tell a good story. There are cameos that tie in over the last couple of months that we'll get to in a second. They start brawling early at the bell. The size advantage of McIntyre comes into his advantage early. Hard chops by both men. Orton attempts the RKO. McIntyre avoids it, and Orton crotches McIntyre, and Orton sets up for a punt, and then there's a hand that grabs his leg. Big Show is here. He pulls Orton out of the ring, gives him a choke slam through the announcer's table. Show runs away. The match continues. Obviously, this is legal because of the ambulance match stipulation. McIntyre's back in control, drops Orton on the barricade, beats down Orton, carries him to the ambulance, and sends Orton into the ambulance door. And then there's a point not too far from here where the ambulance door flies off. Orton opens the front door, and that's where it actually flies off. Claymore kick is what causes the door to come off its hinges, which was really a cool visual. I hope it was safe, but it looked really cool. McIntyre's in control, or Orton's back in control, and there's a slam into the front of the ambulance. Orton throws McIntyre into the wall to take back over. Christian shows up, attacks Orton in the back. He beats down Orton, and he leaves. So basically everyone that Orton has done wrong to in the last several months is going to get some form of revenge. McIntyre regains control, nails Orton with chops. They go back, fight through the ambulance. They fight on the hood of the ambulance and slam him on the windshield. And McIntyre's back is all cut up due to the windshield. I do want to mention one thing that I forgot in the tag match. The announcers kept acknowledging, and the referee kept acknowledging tags. So maybe they're picking up on AEW doing it with some people with FTR. I don't know. It just seems really out of sorts for them to acknowledge tags. The announcers did at least 3 times in that one match. Anyway, McIntyre's back is all cut up. It's pretty nasty looking. Orton stomps on the hands of McIntyre, sending him off the top of the ambulance to the floor. Orton stands on top of the ambulance, staring down at McIntyre. Shawn Michaels appears on the top of the ambulance, and he hits a super kick and pushes Orton off the top of the ambulance to the floor. McIntyre tries to put Orton in the back of the ambulance. Orton fights out, hits the RKO on the arena floor itself. Orton shoves McIntyre into the back of the ambulance. He tries closing the second door, but it doesn't happen. McIntyre reaches out and then hits a Claymore kick on Orton, and he puts Orton in the back of the ambulance, has the match won. McIntyre pulls out Orton and gives him his own punt kick and then slams the door for the win. Post-match, Ric Flair shows up as the driver of the ambulance and drove off with Orton in the back. This was really, really good. Speaking of really, really good, the main event, the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman defeats Jey Uso to retain the title. This was really good too, in a different way. It's definite slow build and tells a story from the beginning. I think they mic'd both guys because you can hear them talking to each other in the ring. So the ring must have been mic'd differently for this match, or they were wearing mics on their clothes or whatever, because you hear them talking throughout. Anyway, lock up early. Reigns can't overpower his cousin. Uso gains an advantage, but clothesline for near fall. Referee admonishes Reigns for cheating. He wouldn't break any illegal holds. Heyman yells at the referee. Reigns told Heyman he better take care of the referee or he'll have to deal with him. Again, you can hear verbally like every word that Reigns is saying. Also, Uso is the same way later in the match, so things are mic'd differently. Reigns is in control, beats down Uso several times, slams him into the announce table, and then the match slows down with basic holds. Samoan drop for close near fall by Uso, and tries to hit the Rikishi splash in the corner. Reigns counters with a Superman punch. They fight around at ringside. Reigns continues to dominate the match, and he said he should have just Reigns tells Uso he should just lay down and take the payday. He's trash talking Uso for several minutes here. Every time Uso tries to fight back with a strike, it doesn't pay off. Uso fights back, sends Reigns into the ring post, and Uso hits a suicide dive and goes back into the ring with a crossbody for a near fall. Uso hits a super kick for another close near fall, and Reigns avoids the splash, and then Reigns attempts a spear, but Uso rolls him up for another near fall, hits a super kick, and a top rope splash for a 2 count. On the kick out of the 2 count, Reigns kicks Uso low. Reigns hits a spear, doesn't go for the pin. He demands to be called the tribal chief. Uso refuses, and Reigns hits a second spear. repeat the same tribal chief comment. Uso refuses a second time. Heyman yells to Reigns that he is the tribal chief, and Reigns doesn't care what Heyman says. He wants Uso to acknowledge it, and then we see a Brock Lesnar style beatdown. The referee steps in, tries to pull Reigns off. Reigns gets in the referee's face, tells him not to mess with this. This isn't his, it's family business, and that if he gets too involved, he'll make sure he doesn't have a job. Reigns continues the assault. Uso refuses to give up. Reigns continues rocking shots. Jimmy Uso runs down, tells his brother he's going to throw in the towel. Jay begs that not to happen. Reigns drags Jay back and puts him in the middle of the ring, continues the beatdown. Jimmy can't handle it anymore. There's actually a spot here, too, where Heyman says just throw the towel in for him. Jimmy acknowledges that Reigns is the tribal champion, and Heyman puts Jay's leg around Roman's neck and posed with the title over both fallen Usos. Really good. So the final two matches are good. The three-way ladder match was intriguing for what it is. So a three-match show. Everything else you can skip. It belongs on Raw or SmackDown. But overall, better than I expected it to be. We will be back with more action. We have entered 1986 in the World Class Series, if that's something you're into. So hope you enjoy that as well. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.